Welcome everyone. My name is Eric Best. I'm the CEO at Mercent, and Mercent helps retailers be more visible, competitive, and profitable wherever consumers shop. And in the last 18 months, in particular, that has been particularly true on Google product listing ads, now known as Google Shopping campaigns. So I'm here with Nicole Premo, representing Google, and also Carroll, who is Mercent's Director of Paid Search Services. And we're going to talk about Google Shopping campaigns. So welcome, both of you. I'm just going to start off with a softball. When we think about Google Shopping campaigns and the differences in the program today versus product listing ads, say, a year ago, or even 6 months ago, what's the nature of the change? What's happening? What is Google Shopping campaigns?
Yeah, so I think that the Google's shopping campaigns came out of talking to retailers of all sizes and talking to partners of all sizes and finding out what now seems kind of like a intuitive, almost silly retail truth, which is that fundamentally retailers plan and price their inventory in order to manage their business. So in a store, what this means is that the same way you'd put a big sign above your sale rack to try to drive that inventory and move it out of your store to free up that space, in the same way that you would move your hot trending item to the front with the prime real estate in the front window, we need to be able to do that with our online digital shelves, which are what we're managing through product listing ads. So I think what shopping campaigns fundamentally do is they give you the insights and the tools to be able to manage your campaign more like you manage your store, with pricing and promoting inventory first and worrying less about some of the online SEM stuff, but instead integrating both concepts to provide a true retail solution.
Yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense. At Mercent, we've been thinking about digital marketing campaigns through the lens of the product catalog and the merchandising calendar. Deb, you want to talk a little bit about how at Mercent we're preparing for the shift to Google Shopping campaigns, maybe just from a timing standpoint and some of the fundamental campaign structure changes that we're implementing for our customers?
Yeah, so we're spending a lot of time with our customers actually going back through their catalog again and taking a fresh look and a fresh eye at everything that needs to be done to have a successful shopping campaign. The new shopping campaigns give you a lot more flexibility to use other data points that we didn't have before, and I love it. It's fantastic to get the extra insights, and it mirrors a lot more closely as to what those actual merchandising goals really are. So right now, we're spending a lot of time with that. We've gotten some initial campaigns actually live for the vast majority of our clients. And our target is to have at least 50% done by the end of this month and the rest done by the end of July. So we'll be well ahead of that August cutoff.
And there is a cutoff.
Yes.
Yeah, so we are recommending that retailers dive in as soon as possible to start manually and kind of taking the time to thoughtfully upgrade their campaigns. By the late August, if there's any unupgraded campaigns, that is to say any regular PLA campaigns that are still running, will be automatically upgraded. And so we're really encouraging you to take the time well in advance of Q4, that very important holiday retail season, to really optimize your campaigns and know what you're doing so that they're upgraded in a way that makes sense for your business.
Yeah, when product listing ads first rolled out in June of 2012, the timing seemed intentional, given that it gave retailers some time to experiment with the program and get comfortable with the new pay-to-play model in advance of the holiday. And for our part at Mercent, we saw retailers really using that first holiday season to fully understand the potential of the program and kind of dial in their campaigns.
Yeah.
So is the timing for this cutover with shopping campaigns sort of intentional in the same way?
I think what we can say is, we know how much revenue is driven for retailers during Q4, so we don't want you to have to be thinking about adjusting your bids or not knowing exactly how to target certain brands or certain product lines when you're in the midst of trying to send out shipments on time and do all of those things that are fundamental to the business. So I think in that sense, upgrade as soon as possible. There are tons of great new tools that help you actually optimize your campaigns and get more insight than you had before, like impression share, like benchmark click-through rate, benchmark max CPCs. So the sooner you set up your campaign, the sooner you can start using those data points to actually improve your campaign over what you had before, again, well in advance of that important retail season.
Yeah. Okay.
And we shared actually just last week some data points on our joint webinar about how the CPCs are actually lower and the conversion rates are getting better with those added insights. So our clients are seeing good results from what they've done so far.
Great. Well, so we've talked about what Google Shopping Campaigns is. What can we expect near term and as we head into the holiday this year in terms of program evolution, adoption, rollout, and so on?
So I think what I can speak to is the larger vision Google has for kind of retail solutions. I can say there are two things that we're very focused on. It's mobile and it's local. So mobile, I think nobody is surprised by that. You've probably heard that at this conference tons and tons of times, but essentially people are reaching for whatever device is closest to them, and often that's their mobile phone. So with mobile, that means from our end, we're looking at how to optimize that mobile ad unit and experimenting with making sure that mobile provides the retail-centric experience that mobile shoppers are looking for. So if you do a quick search on your phone, you'll see that this means a bigger ad unit for fatter fingers, less precise clicking. It also means a swipeable interface so you can browse right from that screen. And I think what we're also trying to do in terms of mobile is help our partners know what they can do on their websites to drive higher, stronger mobile engagements, both from a conversions perspective, but also from a content browsing perspective, because we see that 90% of smartphone owners actually browse information on their mobile phone before making a purchase. So it's not an insignificant data point.
90%.
90%.
Yeah. That also brings up local inventory ads, which is something that for our part at Mercent, we announced support for a week ago. And maybe we should just quickly talk about that program. So from our standpoint, this is it's a fairly new ad unit or program from Google. And really the key distinction here is that we're driving mobile shoppers to physical store inventory and pricing data, right?
Yep.
And really that manifests on the phone through that nearby, in stock nearby or available nearby. Do you want to talk a little bit more about how that works?
Sure. So I think the same way that product listing ads have given you that digital shelf online, we want to make sure your local inventory, that is to say inventory that's available in your physical locations, also has a digital shelf. Because what we're seeing is that the online and offline shopping experiences are blurring. People no longer distinguish between, for instance, Acme Bikes, my local retailer, and acmebikes.com. To me as a consumer, those are the same retailer, it's the same business. I want to have a consistent experience across all of their various outlets, be they online or in a local store. So in that way that those two worlds are blurring and blending, we want to be able to provide online information that also connects shoppers to the physical retail locations that they're looking for. So at a high level, that's what we're trying to do with local inventory ads.
I notice you're avoiding the cliche of omni-channel, but that's really what this is about, right? So, okay, so we've talked a little bit about where the program is going and what it means in terms of the big picture Google Shopping strategy. Deb, can you talk a little bit about, you mentioned earlier some of those signals that are available through the new Shopping Campaigns program. Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about tactics. What are the practical implications of this shift for retailers in terms of campaign structure, but also that feedback loop that you were talking about?
Yeah, so in the campaign structure, it's actually being able to use the different nodes within the Google categorization or the product type categorization, which re-emphasizes the importance of making sure that that's actually clean, and a huge lift in performance when you get it right. When you actually have all of the jeans together, all of your short sleeve shirts together, those little pieces help make sure that your performance goes a lot further. And then the other signals that you can send through custom labels of this is a promotional item, this is a top seller, and getting the benchmark CPC in there along with impression share. So you know on this set of products, I absolutely want to make sure I'm maximizing how much I can get for traffic, because this is going to be my top performing piece. And so you get the feedback loop from the added metrics, and you're setting up new campaigns that really speak a lot more to exactly how all of our retailers manage their business.
Great. Anything you want to add there in terms of
Yeah, I would just
practical
say,
tactics and tips?
Yeah, I'll just say at a high level, the most important thing you can do for your clients or as a retailer is optimizing your data feed. It's kind of the double whammy. So your data feed provides the information that Google uses to match your products. So if your information is inaccurate or insufficient, we don't have as good of signals to match your products to the right search queries and the right shoppers. Where you get hit a second time is that if you're providing bad, not user-friendly titles or bad images, users then also don't want to click on your ads. So you're getting hit twice if you're not focusing on your data feed. And And I would even argue that with shopping campaigns, because how you structure your data feed is so central to how you organize your campaign, now it's actually a triple whammy. So data feeds, I would say, are where you should be focusing your resources in terms of building the capabilities to scale accurate data pulls and submission, but then also moving beyond the core information submission and actually optimizing feed quality on top of that.
Yeah, this is really central to Mercent's
Yeah.
platform. This idea that we can enable dynamic content overrides on specific categories or brands, or really any custom assortment that's definable by performance criteria or operational criteria like inventory availability and so on.
And I think for a lot of our clients, what we end up with is not necessarily having to, initially when we bring a client on board, we're spending a lot of time focusing on making sure the initial basic data quality needs are met. What we have a lot more fun doing is actually testing the titles. Should brand come first? Should brand come last? What are the different types of ways that we can describe the color? Because a lot of your manufacturers out there, their color names are more personal to the brand and not necessarily very telling to the consumer or to Google that this is in fact something that's blue. So we spend a lot more time actually getting to test and go a little bit further than I think some of the other, if they were doing this outside of Mercent would be able to do.
Great. So maybe to sum up, the campaign variables are still important, and you need to bid for placement and sort of manage all of those traditional characteristics of a text ad campaign. But now you've got the addition of the catalog data, data quality, data portability, the data feed that really is central to performance.
Yep.
Anything else, Nicole, you want to add?
I think those are the key points. I think, like you said, and like we kind of talked about, mobile and local are places you should be looking, you should be investing, and then just to reinforce that data feed core capability, especially with local, I think that especially emphasizes it. There are 2 additional data feeds that are required on top of Google Places submission and the online products feed that you're already submitting. So if you're not comfortable as a partner or as a retailer submitting information, I can say that data feeds are only growing in importance and growing in centrality to certain types of ad formats. So I don't think they're going away. I think they're here to stay. So if you're uncomfortable, dig into that place of uncomfortability and figure out how to build those skills.
Or call Mercent. All right, well, Nicole, representing Google, and Deb at Mercent, thanks again, you guys, for your time today. I think it's been very valuable for our customers. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.